Welcome back, everybody, to the Two Idiots MLB The Show Improvement Special. This is part 2 where we continue with our ideas to make MLB The Show better. The next topic that I would like to tackle would be the player card and the stats. So currently, as we're looking at Cade Horton on the screen, he's 24 years old, and we've been excited for him since we took over the franchise in 2024. Unfortunately, MLB The Show does not track the stats from year to year in the minor league systems. For regular MLB players with service time, multiple years, it will show a full history of what they did in those years with what teams, and you can see the trajectory that they've been on and how they've improved or how they've regressed over the years. But for a developing young guy like Cade Horton, we've been excited about him. And he's been in the franchise since 2024. He was a homegrown guy in the farm system. But it's impossible to tell what's been going on with Cade Horton because they wipe the stats every time the year ends. So currently, we're looking at his AAA stats for 2026. He's only got 23 innings pitched. Well, he's been in the franchise for 2+ years, and we've got no way to actually tell if he's gotten better, if he's improved in any metric, in any way. It is completely hidden, and it's asinine because it tracks it throughout the entire year. The numbers are there. They're on the screen. They're present. And then we go into the offseason. We come back the next year, and it's got nothing. It's absolutely blank. And it drives me bananas because we are forced, if we want to track these stats, to have a spreadsheet of our own and record all of this on a separate third-party platform and try to track these guys. If you want to have a franchise system giving us the power to develop these guys and do all that stuff, tracking these stats are absolutely essential and should not be missing from this game.
Hell no. It's just the fact that they will track an entire MLB career and stats and keep them. You could go look at someone who's been playing for 12 years and all of their shit's there. You know, every season, every metric is there until you want to see their AAA stats. So why do they not carry over? Like we look at, you know, we'll take Vladdy. You know, he has no AAA stats. I mean, he's been in the league for 7 years. We don't need to really see his, but look, we can see his whole career. As soon as he came to the majors right up until this day today. But with someone like, you know, the big thing like, with Cade Horton or even Ricky Tiedemann, who wasn't a Cub to start with, he was a Blue Jay. So we go over here, he's not played any major league stuff, and this is what he's done AAA. Great. What did he do last year? No idea. How did he do in his first year at AAA as on the Blue Jays farm system? How many games did he play? How many innings did he pitch? No idea. So we can't fucking see anything, and it's aggravating. And I understand it 100%. Is they'll track every MLB stat, but no AAA, no even AA stats. We can't even look at this guy's AA stats. So if we call someone up from AA, their stats disappear.
Yep.
So if we were to go to someone on our AA and look at their player card, they have AA stats and they have MLB stats because he was in the majors. Even he only played 28 innings in 2023. It's there. Nothing in 24, 25 or yet this year. He's down in AA. But what did he do last year?
What's he done in the last 3 years? Yeah, from 2023 to 26, has he improved?
Yeah, like is he regularly throwing 3.35 ER or 3.3 ERA? This is his bad year? Is this his best year? We have no fucking way of knowing. The only thing we go by is these arbitrary made up numbers right here.
And those also reset every year.
Right. So he plays plus 1 to hits per 9 right now, but is that consistent? Like, is he getting +1s and 2s every year? Or has he been negative the last 3 years, only +1 this year? We have no way of knowing. No way to track any actual progression. And I mean, it's not too bad if you're started out and you had the guy in the minors throughout, the franchise. But if we go to look at a player on another team to look at somebody we want to get, we can't even look at their previous year AAA stats. We can only see this year's AAA stats. If they're like in the minors, we can't even go and say, "Hey, this guy's on the White Sox. What did he do last year for them?" We don't fucking know because he was in AAA. We can't see a fucking thing. So is this year his best year ever? Is this year his worst year ever? It's a gamble, and we can only go by the rating and say, okay, well this year he's got a bunch of pluses or he's got 2 minuses, and okay, his C potential and he's 75 overall in the up. Well, like that's great, but is this his biggest year in progression or is this his worst year of progression? It's completely just it's a guess. I mean, and we know like these numbers don't mean shit anyways.
Right.
It's just it's ridiculous that you can't like. I mean, they're so stat focused and everything is so stat based, yet there's no stats here.
Yeah,
it's kind of stupid.
It's a critical failing on the part of the show to track every single at bat in the MLB level. But like you're talking about, the core progression and building up a farm system that's so crucial to MLB franchises is just not present here.
Yeah. I mean, like, we'll take a look at Kate Horton. I mean, we're definitely not getting rid of him. Yeah, so his ERA numbers in AAA weren't the best, but we've been watching this kid progress for the last couple of seasons. We can't wait to put him up in the majors, and we actually did for a little bit this year. But I mean, is this his worst year ever, or his best year ever? Take a guess. So if we haven't been watching this kid closely for the last 2 years, we'd be like, man, this guy's not doing good. Should we trade him? Should we look at maybe getting rid of him before his trade value tanks? Or should we just ride it out for another season or two because this is kind of his worst year ever? Or is this his best year? 5.79 ERA. If this is his best year and it's 5.79, I trade his ass instantly. But the fact that we know this is one of his worst years, we're not getting rid of him. Because we've actually seen and we paid attention to his AAA stats. But if we didn't, we'd have no clue.
Yep.
And I mean, how can you have a stat-based system and not fucking use it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. A stat system with no stats.
Yep. Brain dead.
So another thing that I would love to see on these stats and on this screen here as well is I would love if we could highlight and filter in a way kind of like career best numbers, career worst numbers, or even if it's only just the best, highlight the best. I want to see at a glance here. It would be awesome. Just a little box that surrounded, like, say, 2021, he had 48 home runs. That's clearing away the highest home run that he's had. I would love to see just a little, like, a yellow square highlighting that. That's his career best home run year. 109 RBIs in 2024, put a little square around that. That's his best RBI year. Or 111 in 2021. But you understand the example. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
And like strikeouts, he's only got 43 this year. That is well below any other year. This is his best year on not striking out. Put a little box on it. Let's highlight that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see at a glance, and it'll help, sort through, because this is a ton of information. When you and I put these videos up together here on our Two Idiot franchise, when I do my own separately on my solo franchise, when I have stat screens up, I know information gets lost because it's just a wall of numbers. It's not user-friendly unless you're a stats nerd and you're looking at all this, and it takes time to do so. I would love a little bit of a visual simplification and just highlight some of those things. This is his best year for strikeouts. That is an awesome thing to know about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in this franchise. We just pulled him. He was averaging almost 100 strikeouts a year, and then suddenly it drops off as soon as we pulled him from Toronto. That's an amazing thing that plays into interactivity for us being able to justify, hey, we got that trade. Maybe he's not doing this as well, but look how much he's improved on this stat. That's awesome. I'm really happy that we got him and that he's showing that improvement. You know what I mean? That type of interactivity and interaction and getting a little bit more invested in these players is just one more thing that would be really, really cool and super easy to do.
Yeah, because it would be like, yeah, the little box around the number. Because, I mean, look at his triples. His triples. He's got 3 already this year, and it's only 82 games. Like, his
Yeah.
best was 2 triples in 2024. And then he had 2 triples in 19 and 20. So, I mean, 20 doesn't really count because it was the COVID year. But, I mean, like, he played 161 games in 2021. He only got 1 triple. And so far at 82 games, he's got 3. That's a big improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his. You can look at his home run numbers, and yeah, that thing highlighted. Even if it's a guy like 7 years, and you got to scroll down. Like, oh shit, back in 2020, man, he was smashing. He's getting close to his numbers. You can take a look at it, and it's a tangible thing to sort
Yeah.
through and easy to put in if you're like making a video. Hey, with glad he's not having a great year in certain triples. Like if we're back in like last season, oh, he's not doing great in triples, but man, this year look at him, he's doing so much better. You can actually see improvements and actually make points on it. And if you're talking it and doing a video and sharing that stuff with your viewers, it adds to it. And if you're not doing the video, it adds to it as well. If you come in and look at it going, yeah, fucking glad he's doing so much better in strikeouts this year.
And it would be so easy to see. Like, that's why I use the phrase at a glance.
Yeah.
I mean, you immediately would know that's his best year for that stat. That would be incredible.
Yep. You could even put a toggle in and toggle it on and off if you don't want to see it.
Yeah. Or just have it be on the column you've selected. Right now, you're on games.
Yep.
So his highest amount of games was in 2021 with 161. So right now, if you don't want to clutter the screen with a bunch of highlighted boxes, I get that too. So keep it clean. Put it on the column you selected. When we're on games, 2021 for 161 games, put a little box around that. If you move over to at-bats, now 638 should light up. That should be highlighted because that's the highest stat on that line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you wanted to do it on an individual basis, that's fine. I'm not asking for clutter on the screen, but I would love to be able to see some things that are visually understood in a split second. That is a great user-friendly idea. Another cool thing that I would like to see, I don't expect it to be implemented, but I would love this type of interactivity as a manager to the players, is on this contract screen. We see, the years, the amount of money, and it has a couple yes, no's down on the bottom section there. But what I would like to do is on a player contract, when we sign them, I would love to offer incentives. And what I mean by that is we know Vladdy is a power bat, and we bought him, for first base, largely because of the power and consistency that he's had there. So if we wanted to incentivize and say, hey, 2026, we're going to start you at $20 million, but if you hit 50 plus home runs, we'll give you an extra $2 million on top of that. You know what I mean? A bonus that would reward and incentivize performance. Obviously, this is a simulation. It's a video game. I know that this would make no actual morale boost in the game, but it would be a very cool thing to be able to set some type of contract goal as an incentive and have this player achieve that goal and get a $2 million bonus or something. I think that the player happiness with the ball club could benefit from that later on. We see like their interest level, or when we try to gauge, signing a free agent or something like that, there's certain screens that show interactions in their interest levels. Are we a competitive ball club? Do we have, are they happy with the region that we're in? Do they have any people that they've got camaraderie with? You know what I mean? Like that screen, that could be another thing of like, do we offer good incentives to our players? That could be really cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It's like down at the bottom where you get the yes, no for 40-man active, views, options, all that shit. Is you can have, like say we offered him when we signed him free agent, we said if you have, blank amount of home runs or blank amount of like triples or doubles or whatever,
slugging or
yeah, like you could have the option at the bottom in that blank section, and you could say like say he has to have 35 home runs. Well, let's say blank out of 35 home runs.
Yeah.
Or OBP needs to be blank, and he's this number now. This is what he needs to be at the end of the year. Like that would be, that would give you something to say, hey, look how close he's getting to that incentive, And it's like, great. Or he could be like the Pirates. Oh, he's getting close to most games played. We better bench him. We could be like the fucking Pirates.
Can't afford the bonus right
yeah,
now.
Can't afford the bonus. We had our bench him so we can't fucking hit 5 more home runs before the end of the year. Like, I mean, you could really fucking do that. And I mean, that fucking gets done. It's shitty, but it happens. But if you could offer up incentives or even a signing bonus, because signing bonuses are a thing, we can't offer signing bonuses. That should
Just
not come off the overhead. Yeah, so there's definitely some good improvements to be made. But yeah, incentives would be awesome. It'd be so fun to add that to the board. And it said you could act scummy with it too. You could actually do that. And add a little extra tension to how you're going to treat your players. Yep. If you negatively affect their, if you bench them for no reason and they can't get their incentive, that could hurt their contract negotiations, it'd be interesting. And I like your other option too, designating a franchise player. That incorporates the incentives and incorporates like the stadium improvements, like how the fans react and stuff. Because if you designate a guy as the franchise player, it's like, hey, Gladys the franchise guy, like he is in Toronto. And it's like, hey, we're gonna have like, Vladdy Appreciation Day. We're gonna give away a jersey or a hat or whatever. And so in other words, has the franchise player plays better, has to extend the contract, etc. The fans, incentivizing that. So if all of a sudden, you trade him before he starts to decline in, that franchise ability, you trade him too early, then the fans are pissed and don't show up to the ball games. Like it adds a little extra RP value and role playing to everything. And also too, like I said, that'd be an option you could just turn off because some people wouldn't want to have to deal with that extra stuff. But adding stuff in as options for people to play with will make the game better and give people better options. And I think improving franchise would sell more games.
I think so too, because there's so much of a focus right now on Diamond Dynasty and the opening packs aspect and all of that stuff. And for me, I've never have gotten into that. It's always felt really scummy to me and predatory. And I've had no interest in how they've structured the multiplayer in that way. I will every once in a while play a ranked game online and do multiplayer that way. But Diamond Dynasty for me is not at all what I buy the show for. I don't interact with it. I'm not interested. I play franchise, I play Road to the Show, and that's it. And we have been starved for improvements in these areas for many years now.
I agree. I've tried a little bit of Diamond Dynasty back in the day, but yeah, I just don't find it fun. I'm not the best at the game, so you go up against a guy that's got, every top player in the league on his team because he wants to spend the money on the game and do that. That's on him. I don't want to spend money on the game other than purchasing it, and I'm not going to spend time trying to build a team. It's not what I want to do. To go online and get beat by people that are a lot better than me. But they're still fun. So it doesn't draw me at all. If they could take that out of the game completely and make a separate like Diamond Dynasty only game and then make an actual baseball game for the rest of us, I'd be happy.
I would love that.
Fucking give the fucking Road to the Show to the EA or some shit. They like predatory crap. Yeah. Pay to win, no thanks. I'll play the show or the Road to the Show, and I'll play franchise.
We talked about the show not tracking stats throughout the years and how that is a core failing as far as the developmental aspect of watching the minor leaguers get better or get worse. And we make big decisions based on that information. Part of the development is the training screen. And this is really, really bare bones. We basically designate some type of stat that we want to focus on, and then they slowly get better over time. But I think this screen could use a lot of love, and it could really, really use some improvements. Panther, what idea do you have for that?
So we talk about when you look at the player cards and it shows like those little pluses and negatives. When you come in here and set Vladdy's power to lefty righties and you tell him to train in the weight room, and there should be, I don't know exactly where it should come into play to let you know that, hey, you maybe should switch up his training. I don't know. There should be something to help you if you actually want to focus on training. But it should be here. It should show you what your training is adding to those numbers. Instead of having the one on the player card that shows you +1 to hit, +2 to this or whatever, or negatives, why can't we see it here? I'm telling him to train power. So he's been training power since the start of the year. Maybe not him because he's not been on the team, but we'll say Nico Horner. He's been training vision, discipline, and clutch all year because we've not changed that. Well, how much has he improved? We have no idea. Is it helping? Is he actually getting training? Is it making any fucking difference? We have no way of knowing from the screen what's going on. We go into the player card and we can see there's vision, discipline, and clutch. Vision, discipline, and clutch. He's got a negative on vision and nothing on discipline and nothing on clutch. Why is he training it? So training does this do anything? No, it's just an arbitrary screen of bullshit. Look at here. Why do you know why we're training his arm and his accuracy? Corbin Burns is a pitcher, not a fielder. So why is that automatically that? I have no idea. But say a Suzuki, vision, discipline, and clutch. Vision, discipline, and clutch. -1 on vision, nothing on clutch and discipline. So why is he training it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the problem. It doesn't tell us that, hey, you're adding an extra 1 or 2 to these. And then look at the player card and say, oh, well, okay, I see now he's only got a plus, so we'll say it's a +1 on vision. So he's got a +3 here. So he's gone up 3 points just from training, but he's also just a regular play. He's gone up 1. You know, that's all it would take. It's something simple. Is show me what the fuck is the training's actually doing.
What effect has it had? Yeah.
Because clearly it has no fucking bearing. Well, there's negatives.
And there's some numbers, yeah.
What the fuck? Why is it only on Justin Steele? And Matt Straub? Why MLB?
Not on the stats that we've selected there, yeah.
Oh, there's some there. But
okay.
Why is he in Hamilton?
I'm curious. Pull up his player card. I want to see. It's the same numbers reflecting. Yeah. So it's on there for some of them and not on there for others.
Wow. Well, what the fuck? Harry Ford. Talk about doing everything but speed.
Yeah.
He says no to drugs. But I mean, like, look at that. That's beautiful.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah. Why does Gavin Williams not have...
And if you go back to Harry Ford just for a second, what I'd love to see too is a differentiate what the training has done versus what his performance. Because I don't know if for vision, discipline, and clutch, if the +3, +3, +2, is that due to just him doing better in the game through the simulations, or is that because of the training? He's also got +2 and +3 to contact right and contact left. That's obviously not because of the training. So how much of the training has caused the improvement for vision, discipline, and clutch? I want to see why I'm scheduling training in this area for this person. Has that given him the +3, +3, +2, or is that only because of his performance? Which part of that comes from the training? That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
The next area that has me clenching my fists in anger is going to be these scouting screens. I'm joking, but I'm kind of not also. So scouting is one of the cool things that we can do as a franchise player in these games. The problem is how they implement nearly every aspect of scouting. So the first thing that I want to tackle is how do you track week to week? There is 14 different weeks of scouting that has to be completed. You've got to designate scouting assignments either on an individual player basis or on a region. And there's no way to track that inside the game. There is not any possible way to see what did we do last week. On the current screen that we're in right now, we're in week 13 of scouting, and we just went to view the prospect list. So that's where we're at now. We can see our draft picks on the left. We can see our positional needs that we've designated and even the depth chart positional rankings. But there's no way to say, I've already tracked, a starting pitcher that I was interested. Oh, who was that? I can't star a player. I can't add them to the prospect list that I'm interested in drafting. I can't look at a history of what I've done as far as scouting. There's no way. There's no, just like, the AAA stats or AA stats disappear year to year. Week to week, it's a clean slate. We have scouting amnesia every time in the screen unless we make our own spreadsheet and we look at that and we fill all that information manually. So again, the game is forcing us outside of the game system to track something that it should already do for us in the game. It's absurd.
Yeah, because if even what it would take would be on the screen here, even though we didn't scout this Mark Senate guy. So it could have little up and down arrows, would be the simplest thing to add. How his potential is 88 to 99. Okay, we scout him for a week. Well, now potential goes up to 85, but down to 95. Why couldn't they put an arrow on one side, an arrow on the downside, or a little plus on the, like, how they do the pluses above the progression? Add that
Yep.
to potential in the overalls. So we know, hey, last week we scheduled this guy, he was an 80 and a 99. Now he's an 85 and a 95. Fuck, that's good. He came up 5 and went down 5. That's fine. His overall is now from a 68 to an 87. He's now a 73 to an 85 or some shit. Like little plus 2s and 3s and shit beside the numbers would fucking solve the problem. There you go. I just fixed it for you, Joe.
Yeah, and in the editing room, if you can do this for us, if you can Photoshop, let's say the 80 to 99, if you can grab that and take it from the right side and move it over to the left so it's a little more centered, so like the 8 is underneath the K, that gives you space on both sides.
Yeah.
To represent exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So you can either put the numbers like take the potential, and you can move put a set of like we like to put before and after or something, or even the little pluses, something. Yeah, I'll throw something together to try to make it a little bit easier for someone to visually see. But yeah, that would make such a big difference. Instead of asking to do, and you'll see the fucking spreadsheet that we use. And Baker does a great job of keeping it up to date every time we scout.
In this game, you have to wait until draft day in order to set your actual draft class lineup on your board. You cannot designate anybody until draft day as being on your radar to actually draft. And that is just the height of absurdity, because we spend, like I said, 14 weeks doing this. Through that time, we look at potentially hundreds of players. It's a ton of work to scout in this game, but there's no way to track it. Like I said, scouting amnesia. I want to copyright that phrase right now to describe the show, because it's exactly what happens. Week to week, you have no idea what you did last. You cannot designate any person as somebody that you want to draft until draft day itself, and you've got to retread all that ground all over again, and it's redundant work. It's pointless because it should already be there, and you should be able to interact with those players and screens before the actual day of the draft. Another issue that we'll move right into is, as far as like setting these players and scouting them through all that time, is you could spend all that time scouting players and trying to find, undervalued guys, somebody further back in the draft class that's ranked 180, 190, whatever. The problem is that MLB The Show has a draft class that they generate, and then players disappear. You can scout them on any one of the 14 weeks, and then on draft day, they're gone.
Yeah,
that should never, ever happen.
If they fall into that dreaded not ranked category on the MLB side, because they could be not ranked in MLB and ranked in your draft rank, and they disappear. Yep.
They're gone.
We've scouted players that were back at the pack that had oddly like good numbers in enough fields that they made to be, hey, even if he just becomes a AAA god, that's where he'd be. We still need bodies in the minors, and we were drafted a few guys, and we made jokes about it while we were doing it. But I mean, we were scouting guys that were way back in the list because we were trying to fill the bottom, the last 2 draft spots with enough players to make sure we had somebody. We scouted 5 guys and they fucking disappeared. Like, how do you fucking spend a week scouting somebody or looking at their information and putting them down on our spreadsheet, because we did, and then when we go to add them to the draft list, they fucking don't exist.
Yeah.
So either only give us players that are going to be there, or don't fucking give us the players that'll never be there. Like, stop giving us like guys that are, fucking bottom of the pile. What am I want to do here? Yeah, stop giving us like these guys here. Who's going to draft this guy? Draft ranks 195. 199. Mm-hmm. Look, not here he is, not ranked. Why do I want to spend any time looking at this guy if he's not ranked and never going to be there available to me in the draft class? I mean,
that's aside from his stats even. You know, if there was one stat that we were looking for, hey, we need a switch hitter, We
Yep.
need somebody that can mash lefties or righties, or just somebody that can field competently. So I know I don't have to worry about that. Or there's so many different boxes that a player could check for somebody
Yep.
running a franchise, and especially as a late round pick. There's guys that do look like garbage, but they've got something there that's interesting enough. And, obviously the MLB draft is significantly more represented in real life than it is in this game. We only draft around 6, but there's like a lot more rounds than that. So it's not even like we are, trying to cut it down for size. They said 6 rounds in this game for scouting, and that's fine. The issue is that they cut the draft class. So why would they generate guys like Solomon Ramirez or Walter Yan? Those guys are in this game. They have cards, they have ages, they have, whether they've been in college or high school, they have potential, draft ranks for our club or potential ones for the MLB board. They've got overalls, they've got stats, they've got things present that the game generated up until draft day, and then they disappear. Why put all that work in, both on our side for scouting them and on the game side for generating them, if they're just going to yank them out in the final hour?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
Exactly. And it's like I said, it's so frustrating. And it's the same thing with the doctor's exams, like healthy, opted out, injured. Like, what's the point of having that? Because, okay, he's healthy, but that doesn't mean he's not going to get fucking injured day one in AAA. That's an arbitrary thing to even put in there.
Yeah.
It's stupid. What's the fucking point? Who cares? You know what I want to see? Secondary positions from day one.
Yes.
Like this guy here, he's been scouted. So we know now we can see he can play first, center, and right. But we haven't, look, we scouted him. Unknown. How many fucking outfielders do you ever hear of that can't play another position?
Yeah.
You can play usually all outfield positions. Very rarely that you have a left fielder or right fielder that can't play one or the other.
It's also completely illogical within the game itself as well. If we know that his contact versus left at present is going to be somewhere between 41 and 60, how would we know to that much of a degree, but have absolutely no clue if he can play any other position? We know that he's a switch hitter. He throws right. He's 228 pounds. We know how much the guy weighs, but not what positions he plays in baseball. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
And another thing that pisses us off endlessly is the draft rank. We're like, this is here, okay, 99 and 93, but we'll see guys that are...
I was right next to him if you go the other way. 58 and 106.
Yeah. Like, why is this guy a 58 and a 106? Like, where does the MLB draft rank pull their information from, and where does our team pull their information from? Like, how is those numbers so low lopsided? I can see 10, even 20 points in a draft rank could be fine. But 40 some? Like, give me a break. And this is another thing, too, where while we're on this screen, this is one of your biggest things, and we talked about it previously, is where's the clutch rating?
Yeah. Clutch and durability.
Yeah.
Should both be present here. I don't care if they want to omit bunting, because, bunting is an aspect that I think has largely disappeared from most modern play, and that's fine. I don't need to know whether Johnny Castillo can bunt or drag bunt. That's fine. But I do want to know how clutch he is in those moments, because we've got every other stat represented, almost all the other major ones at least, but no clutch. And that's incredibly important because it overrides the other stats in clutch moments.
Yep.
So you can't tell me that it's just some, behind the scenes kind of, don't worry about it. Like, no, I literally do, because I need to know whether Johnny Castillo can be relied on. If his clutch rating is a 5 and he comes in, that's going to take over when we've got a man on second or third. And now suddenly Johnny Castillo is the most expensive crash test dummy to be put in front of a plate.
Exactly.
It just doesn't do anything when those clutch moments. I would love to know that.
Also, too, why do we need to know the big block of fielding, arm strength, arm accuracy, reaction speed, and stealing for a pitcher? Like, there's definitely, I understand you want a pitcher that can field some. You got to, the arm accuracy or arm strength and arm accuracy would fall under the actual pitching ability. I know fielding is different than pitching. I don't need someone to comment that. But I mean, if he can throw 100 fucking miles an hour fastball, well, his arm strength is going to be pretty good. If his pitch control is good, you hope his arm accuracy is pretty decent.
Yeah.
But I mean, reaction, speed, stealing. Pitchers don't speed. They don't steal. Or don't speed. They're not running the bases. They're not stealing bases. Yes, fielding and speed on the pitcher makes sense because you got to make sure the guy can field his position. You don't want to Garrett Cole stand there pointing at first base. I gotta put that up on the screen if I can. Maybe there's a green screen of it. I could just put Garrett Cole pointing his finger. But yeah, I mean, I get those numbers, but those numbers should not inflate or deflate a pitcher's rank.
Yes, their value is directly related to the attributes that don't matter for them.
Because we've seen pitchers with 65 to 99 potential, like this kid here, but his pitching stats are all fucking ketchup and mustard, but he's got like speed, stealing, arm accuracy, and fielding out the ass. So his numbers are way inflated. That makes no sense. Because I tell you right now, no one ever, that I could probably imagine, ever said, hey, this kid can't pitch for shit, but look how quick he gets off the mound.
Yeah.
Getting a pitcher that can get off the mound and field is a bonus after you realize the kid can pitch.
Right. And it's all a matter of what is relevant information to this position that I'm looking at. They show me stamina, hits, strikeouts, walks, all those good things. Yes, I need to know that about the pitcher, but I don't need to know necessarily the fielding or the reaction, speed, and stealing. I'm okay if those are in a different menu, but it's also, as you look at it, it's offset because the right section, that square, is smaller and centered in between, right? So it's nice and even. Why do they not move that upwards a little bit? Eliminate, if we wanted to, eliminate arm strength, accuracy, and let's say reaction and stealing. Don't need those. Give me fielding, give me speed, and then show me his pitches. If you hit X to toggle attributes, it'll switch and show these. Why can I not see these at a glance when I'm looking at a pitcher? I love knowing what the pitch mix is, what his strongest pitch is, what speeds we can expect. So I can say, okay, well, his best is a splitter. That's awesome. Really love that. He's got a great curveball as well. Not so much on the slider. Okay, that's great information to know. Why do I have to dive deeper into a menu to know what a pitcher pitches? Similarly, why do we have to scout somebody to know what positions they play? This should be known information right up front.
Yeah, because you guarantee you that any young fella that's learning to play baseball has played more than one position and will continue to play more than one position until he makes himself to be out to be a stud in that position in either AAA or the major leagues. So from 5 years old to 25 years old, he's probably fucking playing everywhere but pitcher and catcher for most players. Hey, try this guy out in the outfield. He's a little slow. Let's put him in the infield. His feet work ain't that great. Let's put him over first base. Fuck, we got a spot for him. We're going to leave him there. But that doesn't happen between age 5 and age 10. That happens by, 21 and 22 years old. Yep. You watch anyone that watches baseball and they bring players up. How often is today I'm going to talk Blue Jays because I'm a Jays fan. Addison Barger's playing third base. Fucking 2 days later, all of a sudden he's out in right field because George Springer's getting the day off. That's the thing. He's a bench player, utility player everywhere, and he's 24 years old in the majors, still playing a fucking revolving door positions. So we already know that he can play at least 2, if not 3 positions. But Reggie McGraw, he's a pitcher, but we're just using an example, unknown. He's 18 years old, and we don't know if this guy can play another position. So he's never played anything but what position he's slated as.
Well, and again, how do we know all the advanced numbers to a degree that we can measure his home runs per 9 is at least 65 at the present? Yeah. That's incredible to start for an 18-year-old. Are you kidding me? 65 to 99? Yeah. Even having just the minimum of 65 is amazing. How do we know that, but not what else he can play?
Yeah. Like I said, it's just so weird that they focus so heavy on some aspects and just totally shit the bed on others. Like injury risk, unknown because he opted out of the doctors. Get rid of that and give me durability. Just fucking eliminate
Yes.
that stupid shit and just put durability and the clutch rating in the screen and get rid of that. Also, too, signing bonus and signing motivation unknown. I don't even notice that was there before.
Go to somebody like Ruari Starter. Yeah, there you go.
Bonus demand. This is I guess I've never noticed that because to me it's not important. But he wants big money.
Yeah.
So his bonus demand is his big incentive to sign. This guy's motivation is balance. What the fuck does that mean? He wants a balance board in his fucking dressing room? Balanced what? Signing motivation is balanced. Bonus demand. So he's money hungry. Franz wants to be paid.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, like injured. Why would I? We're gonna make the jokes here. But like an injured player, how can I scout an injured player?
Yeah.
I mean, we can. We've done
and we
it.
don't know the injury either.
Yeah, don't know the injury.
So the scout, if you imagine the real world scenario, it would be to say, hey, John Riggs, somehow the MLB knows about him. We know that he throws lefty, that he's 195 pounds and 5'11". We have no idea, though, what he can do other than starting pitcher. And we have no idea, like, whether he is, what the injury is. How do we know that he's injured? Has he already taken the doctor's exam? Because other people have not. We've only scouted him 5%. Why is there any doctor exam information for him, let alone showing injured? And we know he's injured, but not what the injury is. Is it a cracked nail? Is it going to be 7 days on an IL list currently? Or is this guy, does he have only half an arm? What is the injury?
Yeah, is it
how do we not know?
Is it a blistered finger or Tommy John's? Because you know what the fucking sad part is? They actually have an icon that shows injuries and times. So it sits in the upper right corner for an injured fucking player, but there's none here. Where's the little Band-Aid and say, contusion 2 to 3 weeks? Okay, we're not going to scout this guy this week because he's injured 2 to 3 weeks for an injury. But hey, can we start the guy to look at him later? That'd be a neat little thing. Hey, he's injured, but we want to look at him in 3 weeks when he's back off injury. We'll scout him then because I like his numbers, not this guy's numbers, but somebody else. Like, why can't I fucking do that? Simple.
Well, and like you said, it's already represented on a different portion of the game. When we look at our injury list on the roster, like you said, it's got a Band-Aid, it's got, 1 to 6 weeks or something like that, whatever it is, tells what the injury is. How do we know that this kid is injured at all without getting the information of what the injury is, what the time frame is? Even if we scouted him to 100% progress, if we scouted him fully, we would still not know what the injury is. It would still just say injured until we draft him.
That's if he's on the board to draft.
If he's on the board, yeah. This particular case would be, but yes, hypothetically.
And the injury risk is unknown, but he's already injured. So clearly, if it's like like a bruised leg, well, that's a comebacker. That's not his fault. But if it's a blister, split fingers, elbow soreness, or shoulder soreness, that
would be worrying.
Risk, yeah. 18 years old, this kid's already out for 3 weeks because he's got a shoulder injury. Like that, I'd be a little more leery. Yeah. I'd be like, well, I'm not going to even look at him in 3 weeks because he's got a shoulder problem at 18.